Parks and Recreation. If you have ridden through downtown Dallas on the south end, you will see the new Elizabeth McCoon Memorial Park. It is a beautiful facility. It will serve as a gateway into Dallas. It's at the intersection of Henry Holland Drive and Hardy Street. And it will be the connector, hopefully, for the pedestrian pathway through the Oasis Church parking lot to Chattanooga Technical College. We also received a T grant, Transportation Enhancement Grant, for the construction of the trail in the Dallas Battlefield Park. This will be the first segment of a trail to get people up to the trench area and to be able to access the historic area of that park, and eventually it will connect to Sarah Babb Park through the property that we purchased 2 years ago. We have a master plan that's been developed for Sarah Babb Park. We took that park from the county years ago and continued to make enhancements and improvements, and now we have a master plan that shows us some capabilities that we have there to make it even more useful to our citizens. We partnered with a local student, Jeb Gordon. His mama Renee's in the back of the room today. I've known Jeb since he was a baby, and now he's at Georgia studying landscape architecture. And so I had the idea one day. I said, Jeb, can you work on some park plans? He said, I need to build my portfolio. So we're using Jeb to come up with concept plans for Coleman Camp Park, which has been basically unused for the entire time that it has been in existence. And he's got some great ideas, and it's going to be a central part of our historic district development. And I think it's going to be an attraction for families. It includes a dog park area and attractions, fitness attractions as well. So we're very excited about the opportunity not only to provide additional park services to our individuals, but to be able to give a young man from our county the opportunity to exercise his abilities and to use that as a platform for his education. And then finally, in Parks and Recreation, in May, we had the dedication by the Sons of Confederate Veterans of their monument in the Civil War Trailhead Park, Civil War Memorial Trailhead Park. And it has been an excellent addition there. This time next year, we should have the Civil War Trail marker that has been funded and is being prepared for that location. And all of that is to draw on our historical tourism. That's one of the big things that we have in this county, is our natural areas and our historic treasures. And so that adds to the lure for those people that are coming for those things. On quality of life, we are establishing a vacant foreclosed property registry, and we've instructed our marshal to enforce it vigorously. We are enforcing our nuisance ordinances. There have been a couple of old homes that have been left to basically fall in that have been torn down the last couple of weeks. There are more on the list. It is being used to clean up blighted areas. I don't think my lawyer would let me call them by name, but I think if you ride down West Memorial Drive, you'd see one on the left and out on the right as you go out the street. But they're either going to clean them up or get rid of them. We're not going to tolerate things that happen on those properties, and landlords that let their properties go like that. It's a detriment to everybody in the city. We passed the International Property Maintenance Code, which helps us to enforce the neighborhood protections. Those of you that live in subdivisions where homes have either been foreclosed or taken over by HUD and left to stand, it gives us the enforcement capability to go in and require at least that they be maintained, and if not, then we can do so and place a lien against the property. Our Historic Preservation Commission is establishing a residential historic district to complement the business district that was done a couple of years ago. This is not the national registry, but it is an attempt to preserve the heritage that we have and to make sure that development that comes at a later date will follow the scheme and the aesthetic that it currently exists, and to make Dallas a cohesive environment and it follows those guidelines. We passed a motorized cart ordinance to be able to drive golf carts and things around through Dallas on certain streets. We think that will cut down the number of cars, but also increase some of the intra-neighborhood association, and it will be able to get people to the retail centers without having to use their vehicles. We worked with the county for the historic Paulding County Courthouse to be used rather than remaining vacant and mothballed. The Genealogy Society is located there. The Paulding Fine Arts Society is located there. And Georgia Highlands College has put a library in there. So what it'll do is it'll open the building. It'll be a center of attraction for both students, for our tourists, and for those that are interested in the arts community. And if you have not been to the art gallery, it's the whole courtroom floor. It's technically the third floor of the courthouse. But if you have a time from Thursday to Saturdays, it's open, I think, 10 to 4. We have a lot of talented local artists. They're both displaying and selling their works, and they're also teaching classes. So if you think you got some talent, you have an opportunity to explore that as well. And finally, our police department is engaging in more aggressive enforcement of drug and traffic ordinances. We feel like that's a vital step for the quality of life. We are at full manpower there. We too instituted a take-home policy for our police cars to have it in the neighborhoods and to be seen, to increase the response time and to allow people to know that they have a presence in the community. Finally, I'll end with the challenges we face. Everybody knows that Harry Truman popularized the slogan, "The buck stops here," and he put it on his desk in the Oval Office. I don't think any president since then has really taken it seriously, and it seems to have become a boomerang. We are the most intimate form of government that exists. We are closest to the people, and as such, a lot of times we tend to be on the bottom of the totem pole. So every time they talk about cuts in Washington or changes or whatever, it's like Mitt Romney said last night, it's trickle-down government. They're not cutting a lot of the money they're spending, they're just forcing somebody else to pay for it. And it comes down to the local level. My main topic always ends with saying, leave us alone. I believe firmly in home rule for local governments. That's cities, counties, and school boards. Each one of those local governments is elected by the people in that area. They develop their method of revenue raising, they develop their spending habits, they develop their form of government from their people. And we don't need people in Atlanta and Washington trying to micromanage 535 cities, 181 school districts, and 159 counties in the state of Georgia. I was at a conference last week. I sit on the board of the health system for the cities. It's amazing what this new national health plan will do to our plans. Every business in this room will be affected. Every consumer in this room will be affected. There's an organization called GASB. If you're in government, you've heard of GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. It's not a government entity. It is a group of accountants. But the government allows them to control the reporting mechanisms for all the local governments. You know what? They didn't change the rules in about 6 years, and they decided they need to change them again. And it's fixing to affect every government in this country. And the biggest thing it's going to do is, rather than looking at pension liabilities and our financial health over an actuarial period and a smooth period of time, it's going to take a one-time snapshot. And I guarantee you, when those reports start coming out, there's going to be panic, because people are going to think things are much worse than they ever were. There are accountants looking at things one way, and the actuaries are looking another. But again, they have no governmental authority other than we've allowed them to do so. And that's going to change the way we do a lot of our business, and our reporting is going to cost local governments a lot of money. Another thing that's put off because they thought, well, it might be the wrong time to implement, is changing street signs. Every local government in this country is going to be required to have a uniform street sign. Uniform font, uniform height, uniform length, and a certain standardized color. Think how many street signs you pass every day. And you know who's going to pay for it? The local folks. That's some of the federal stuff, some of the state stuff. You know, I think the Congress has issues, but we also have a legislature that a lot of them talk about believing in free markets, capitalism, business expansion, let business operate in a free market. But they continue to interfere and meddle by placing artificial limits and caps on revenue, by changing codes, by trying to guise something as a tax cut when actually it's just a tax or a fee shift. The meddling with the tax structure. Georgia has been competitive for the last 30 years because it had a diverse tax structure. It concentrated on providing a good education system and a good transportation system and providing for natural resources. And now we've done away with that. We think we need to be competitive by being like everybody around us. We once were the leaders, and we need to be the leaders again. We need to provide those quality of life issues that bring businesses to this state. Finally, we have some local challenges, and I think things can and should and will work out well. I'm very willing and open to discussion on these items. We're in the middle of our local option sales tax renegotiation. This is one of the pennies you pay in local sales tax. It's divided among the county and the municipalities. There's a new system in place that takes 8 criteria to decide how that's divided. And we want to make sure that people are treated fairly. But I also want to always ensure that there's tax equity for the people that live within the municipal boundaries of the cities of Dallas and Hiram and every municipal government in the state of Georgia. That is the only form of government that is growing. People are adding cities in this state because it's closer to the people, it's a more intimate form of government, and it's more responsive to their needs. We also will be talking about service delivery. This is a rule that was instituted about 15 years ago. It requires the cities and the county to work out agreements on how services are delivered in the area. And hopefully that will go smoothly and with little contention. I sum this up by saying that government is a challenge. It's a challenge in these days particularly. We have seen a shrinking tax base. We have seen property values decline. We've seen budgets decline. But the needs haven't changed. My budget now is about where it was in 2007. But I have about 12,000 residents where I had about 7,000 at that time. We have more road miles, we have higher gas prices. All of those things have to be factored in. And we've about cut as much as we can without cutting into the services that we provide. I thank you for your attention. I thank the people of Dallas for their confidence in me. I strive every day to earn it. I love Dallas. No other place I'd rather be, except on Saturdays in Athens. But, and we are 5-0. So thank you very much for your time. God bless you and God bless you.
Please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation for what you do in speaking here today. So thank you very much.
Big smile, look this way. Got one shaking hand. Congratulations. Big smile. Big city. Look this way.
Do you mind if I just take
Look this way, man.
just shoot you an email on what it is? Okay. I just
All right, now look at us. Look at us. There you go. Perfect. Coming through. Don't move.
Let me see that beautiful smile, you Doris. No, we wouldn't be in the room. We just coffee.
Thanks.
Hold on, let me say one.
All right, I got two. I run a lot of notes down.
Thank you.